Welcome to the Host Planet Playbook, your go-to guide for mastering short-term rentals. In this special series, we're sitting down with 30 of the world's top property managers to uncover what really drives success in the vacation rental industry. You'll hear their stories, learn the key lessons they've picked up along the way, and discover the game-changing tech they use to deliver 5-star guest experiences. If you're serious about growing your STR business, you're in the right place. We've also developed an ebook featuring the stories of every manager in this series, and you can download it for free. Head to hostplanet.club to find out more. In today's episode, we're chatting to Wendy Wilkinson Coe from Acorn Glade near York in the UK. Stand by for a deep dive into escaping the rat race, taking over a glamping site, and the power of wildlife, including entertaining alpacas. This special series is brought to you by Host Planet and Hospitable, the smart AI-powered property management software trusted by hosts worldwide. With Hospitable, you can automate guest messaging, sync calendars across platforms, and manage your rentals with ease, all from one powerful, easy-to-use platform. If you're keen to run your short-term rental on autopilot, try Hospitable today. Visit hospitable.com/hostplanet to see how the platform can save you time, reduce stress, and maximize your earnings. Wendy, thank you for being part of the Host Planet Playbook. Let's start with you. What's the name of your company? Where are you located? And how many rentals do you manage?
Hi, James. Thank you very much for inviting me. So we are located about 10 miles south of the beautiful city of York in the UK. And we've got 4 different units, so 4 different rental units available. And yes, we're very excited to be here and to share some things with you.
Fantastic. So tell us then, how did you get involved in the world of short-term rentals?
Well, both Andrew and myself were driving up and down the motorway, the M25, repeatedly, and both of us were working with big corporate companies. He was in motorsport, and I worked for British Airways as a cabin service director. And so we were busy, didn't see each other, and suddenly it just dawned on us that we were just on this trail of the rat race, really. And so we decided to sell up and come up to Yorkshire. Andrew's originally from Yorkshire, so that's how I've got my passport to get here. And so yes, and we were looking for something else to do, and we had sold everything, so we had some money to invest in something, and we came across Acorn Glade Glamping. It was up and running, and the owners had decided they wanted to retire. So we went to look at it, and we both looked at each other and went, "Uh-oh, this is it. Can we do this?" So that's how we started. And from there, as a guest said this weekend, who was here 6 years ago, and they've returned this weekend, and they said, "You've moved this up a couple of notches, haven't you?" So I took that as a huge compliment, really.
Yeah, fantastic. And was it always the plan to go into the glamping side of things?
Not really. We just fell into it, to be honest. And we realised that it had huge potential, but it also has given us a lifestyle change, a complete lifestyle change. And because of our expertise, because of mine, I was travelling for 25 years. I've stayed in a gazillion hotels. And Andrew was also working with the Grand Prix and things like that. So we've always been around people and knowing and getting the feel for people and what they like, and sort of tapping into that. And so we've moved it from there, really.
So you mentioned there the guests say that you've taken it up a couple of notches. So what have you implemented? What have you done differently to improve the guest experience there?
So what we have done is we've removed a couple of units that were there, i.e. there were 2 yurts, fabulous structures, beautiful to stay in, but they weren't year-round project because they just got too cold. And so that wasn't going to work for us. So we decided to build some log cabins, and they're all bespoke. I drew a picture and we've built them. So they're very quirky. And we've sort of moved it along that way. So now that they're fully insulated, they've got log burners, so we can run year round and be open from Christmas right round to Christmas.
So tell us then your top tips for delivering an outstanding guest experience.
So we're very fortunate because we live on site. So my passion is to meet and greet every single guest. I memorise their names and I memorise where they've come from so that I've got an opening gambit when they arrive to ask how their arrival was, their drive was, and that kind of thing. And I make a sort of little note of things within the 10 minutes that I get to talk to them about them. So if they have children, if they're their teachers, what their line of work, if they offer that information. And then from there, I can build on what I can then recommend for them to do. So if they love a historical city, of course, I'll steer them towards York. If they want to go and explore the beautiful wolds and their walkers, I've got maps I can give, so I can be their local expert too, without bombarding them with too much information. I'm sort of their electronic guide to what they want to do, but it's about tapping into. I can get a feeling for what people want to do for their weekend or their few days away, and they're very open to tell. Everyone's got a story, haven't they? At the end of the day, so they're very open to telling me why they're there. They might be celebrating. They might be just getting away because they've had enough. So yeah. There's those tips really, is getting to know their names, meet and greet if you can, and be your expert local guide.
You mentioned before then that you spent 25 years with British Airways, travelling all over the world, going to so many different hotels and experiencing various different types of hospitality. What did you learn from all that travel that you apply today?
I suppose what I said slightly earlier was everybody's got a story as to why they're there. And if you can tap into that, you can make people feel very comfortable and very welcome quite quickly, because you show empathy and you understand. And then you can open major conversations and just be and listen.
Yeah, listening is so important, and asking for that information as well, because the more information you get, the more power you've got really as a host to really curate that experience. So just talking a little bit about York then, where you are, just tell us about the challenges and the opportunities of the location where you're operating.
So we're rural, and so guests do need a car. However, there have been a few people who've arrived by train, and then we've got a deal with some taxi companies who will offer some discounts. So prior to the guests arriving, we ask those kind of questions. Are they coming in the car? Are they coming by public transport? And then we can recommend that. Also on our website, we've got all the maps of the local motorways and ways in which they can get here, and then we try and encourage them to leave the car and actually enjoy the local area and go for a walk along the canal, go to the local pub, and feed into the local community really, because that brings in some good revenue for all of us. And I want to be on good terms with our village because it's important.
So how important is it to be a good neighbour and to have those great relations with your local community?
Hugely, because there's often actually business to be generated through that. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, someone who lives in the village has got two little boys, and they were desperate to come and see the alpacas and the wallabies that we have. And so of course, they're very welcome. They came on their bikes. We chatted about what we have here. We showed them around, and And the chap said, "This is brilliant. I can let my family come and stay here because we haven't got very much room in my house." And I said, "Of course, that's not a problem at all." And then it turns out he works from home and has been looking for a space to actually get away from the house. So we're now in negotiation in providing a workspace for him during the week, which is brilliant for us.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. And yeah, just the power of getting to know your local community. Obviously, you've got the wildlife aspect there. Is that one of the ways that you really stand out in your local area? I mean, how else does your brand stand out among the competition?
Yes. Well, one thing I don't see that we have competition because I'm very happy to work with other glamping sites, recommend each other. There's no point in being competing. We are very lucky. I think some glamping sites they might have wonderful structures and everything else, but they can be a bit like porridge when it comes to the actual hospitality. So I think the way that we stand out is we have us, but we also have a wonderful lake, and we are classed as an area of ecological interest. So we have everything solar lighting so that it all dims down at night to enable the bats and all the owls and everything else to do their thing, really. So it's not about us changing it. It's about trying to share information about it for the guests and also to be within nature and living with it rather than trying to change it. So yeah, we've got wildflower meadows and we actually have a fishery as well, so people can come and fish when they come to stay. So, and we've got the free range alpacas that make everybody laugh. Yeah.
Sounds absolutely idyllic. It reminds me a little bit. I stayed recently in the Lake District in a log cabin, and it was just so relaxing. Even though I've got 3 little kids with me who want my attention constantly, but yeah, it is incredibly relaxing when you get around nature. I mean, in terms of your normal guests, is it families, walkers? What are your usual target guests like?
No, so our ideal guest is couples, or maybe 2 friends, or no children, because actually, and I think you might agree, parents need a break too. And as much as you love the children, it's really important to take some time out. And I often hear guests saying, "Oh, it's just nice. We can sit and talk to each other without the interruptions." And I think it's really important. And especially in these days when couples are both working, juggling that whole children and maybe even sandwich generation that have got looking after elders, looking after children, and it's you don't realize it until you actually stop how tired you become. And interestingly, we had that conversation with 2 lots of guests this weekend, and they just felt they had to escape. It was really last minute, but they only booked within a week. So yeah.
Sounds like a complete break from life going to your place. So then tell us, Wendy, what's your biggest lesson learned since you started this glamping site?
My biggest lesson learned is I realised I knew nothing about social media at all. So I've really, really had to study, listen, watch, and I've had to be like a sponge to try and become visible and build the brand, because I realised that we really need to get out there with our brand and be visible. And whether that's on social media, Google, YouTube, I'm trying to build the YouTube channel, and all that kind of thing has been a real challenge because I didn't really know much about it. And then comes on top of that the multi layers of marketing, PR, all that. So I've had to really, really up my game, and I'm still learning. I'm very open to learning, but I am still learning. And of course, everything changes so quickly. And so, yeah, I sort of pull on various people for that. But yeah, trying to keep abreast of it is quite tough.
It is tough, of course, when the social media channels are changing their algorithms all the time, and like you say, it's just a constantly changing world. Moving on, then, I mean, what do you love most about your work?
I love the fact that I get to meet such a diverse group of people, but they seem to, I don't know what it is, but they seem to be drawn to it. And so perhaps we are putting out the right message and we're getting the right guests coming in now. We've turned that round because we were 70-30, I think it was, reliant on OTAs, but now we're 30-70 because I think we're getting the right message out there. It has been a challenge, but I think we're getting there gradually.
And how have you built that direct booking side of things? How have you flipped it from 70-30 to 30-70?
Well, so we are on some of the platforms because I think we can't afford to spend that amount of money on marketing, frankly. So we're using them as a search engine, really, for people. So yes, we'll get them booking and they'll come through the various platforms. But once they get here, I ensure that I get their emails. I ensure that they understand the difference that we can make to them financially, and we can offer them better prices and different offers. And so, yeah, we convert them, and we're also running at 60% return business at the minute. So that's really good. And of course, they will go away, and word of mouth.
Yeah, once you get that guest arrives, and like you say there at the start, you make sure to meet every single guest, so you've got that personal relationship straight away, which you're striking up, and you're finding out stuff about them as well. So it all helps. Okay, then, Wendy. So we've got a few more quick fire questions. Then, which PMS do you use?
Free to book.
Okay, which dynamic pricing tool do you use?
Don't do it. We don't look at that yet. We're quite happy with who we are and where we are, and so we don't really have the competition locally. So we can adjust our prices when we need to and when we want to.
Okay, which piece of tech couldn't you live without?
I think actually it's my phone because I can use it to to upload and do social media when I'm out and about over on the site. I can take pictures all the time. And now I'm starting to integrate a bit of AI here and there, which I'm really enjoying. But I don't like cheesy AI. Some of it's just awful. So yes, I am using it now for various parts of the business, but tweaking it big time as well. But it just helps me, gives me ideas, and because I'm relatively creative, I can generally work on that.
Fantastic. Pets then at your rentals, is that a yes or a no?
That's a no because of the alpacas.
That makes sense. Hot tubs, yes or no?
No, because I can't be doing with the chemicals, and we've got no way to drain them because it would go and leach into the lake. So, no, thank you. But we might be considering saunas.
Okay, all right. Yeah, there's saunas are becoming more and more popular. I think I know the answer to this one: a self check-in or a personal welcome.
Personal welcome every time, and a personal goodbye as well.
Love it. Telephone call or an AI response?
Telephone call, but generally not needed because I've pretty much covered their questions. But they are always welcome to speak to me at any time, and they have my number.
And what's been your most memorable hosting moment so far?
There's a couple. One is when people propose out of the blue, which is very exciting, but I always make sure there's something sparkly in the fridge just in case. Not a diamond. And also actually winning some awards. We have won Best Camping, Glamping and Holiday Park, East Yorkshire, and Responsible, Ethical and Sustainable Tourism Award for East Yorkshire in the last 2 years. So I'm really really proud of that. And it's getting the word out. It's great PR.
Fantastic. Yeah, superb achievements. Okay, then shout out time. Is there an individual in the short-term rental industry who's helped you that you'd like to give a shout out to?
I've got two. I've got Sarah Orchard and I've got Paul Anderson of Instabooked.
Fantastic. Great shout outs there. And question to finish then, ultimate goal for your business?
To scale it a bit more, to get the brand out there and to be the go-to bolt hole for people who just need a break.
I love it. Excellent. Wendy, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for being part of the Host Planet Playbook and for joining us today.
Thank you, and it's great to meet you, James.
All right, that's it for today's episode. My thanks to Wendy for sharing her journey and for being part of the Host Planet Playbook. Remember, this series is brought to you in partnership with Hospitable, the all-in-one property management software designed to save you time and help your business thrive. Hospitable automates your guest messaging, syncs your calendars across platforms, handles team tasks, and so much more, so you can focus on delivering a top-notch guest experience or just get some of your time back. And here's the good news. Host Planet Playbook listeners get an exclusive 14-day free trial plus 25% off for the first 3 months. Head to hospitable.com/hostplanet to claim your offer and start running your rentals on autopilot. For more free education for vacation rental hosts, head to houseplanet.club, where you can sign up for our newsletter, listen to our podcasts, and download our suite of ebooks. Until next time, happy hosting.